Welcome to the Golden Feather. Grab a pint, a plate, and pick your seats. Your hosts, Virtek and Chibi Bree, are back from their latest adventures.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode from the Golden Feather. And today we have episode 15, WIP It Good.
Ding dong.
It was all Virtek's idea.
I take no credit.
Took all the credit. Speaking of whips, we have this lovely piece by Bacon behind us. And I love oceans personally. And when I saw this, I fell in love. But look at that grass. The texture and like the quality of all of the graphics have just completely been like increasing over the last few months. And I can really tell the difference.
Yeah, it's nice detail there. And apparently uses less resources, so double win.
Definitely double win, especially considering some of the effects that they showed us, and I'll be showing you again today, look way better than they did before. And the fact that they use less graphics strain is amazing.
Absolutely. Just, can't wait to get in that world.
Yeah, me either. Actually, I really feel like the MMO is like almost there. I could just reach out and get it.
Yeah, I'm telling you, if their progress on the back end is just as great and just as close to done as they say, we're gonna get that BR back up here really soon, and very shortly after I see the castle sieges coming in.
Oh yes.
BR is probably gonna be a super quick stress test, and then diving right into castle siege.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for that, especially because they say that they're close to Alpha 1, and I mean, obviously, they're not giving any dates, which is, I think, very smart of them. Just because in case something happens like what happened in the BR where there was the back-end issues that now you've seen since December, we haven't even had a BR test. But apparently things have gotten way better, and they're making great progress, not only in the front end with the graphics, but apparently with the back end as well. Something about 3,000 characters being spawned. It's a little crazy.
Yeah, it'd be a little bit bananas. Could you imagine a 3,000 player battlefield? Oh Lord.
My gosh. And I can't wait till we can actually get like 200 or 1,000 people in. I understand that like it's a little harder on them to create the 3,000 with us because we're all from different time zones. Not everybody has a computer. People have lost interest at the moment, waiting for like the alphas to come back. So
honestly, even if they could get 3,000 people to log in right now, I wouldn't see that as actually being a realistic number to be able to get on a screen or on a single battlefield altogether. That would just be absolute insanity.
That's fair. That's very fair. Because, I mean, there are going to be different servers. And so, I mean, even, heck, maybe 1,000 people at most. I don't know.
Yeah, no, the most successful that I've seen was probably PlanetSide 2 and SOTOR. Those are two of the more successful, although SOTOR even had to dial back and they had to start doing phasing more than they thought they had to. I was there during one of the first big battlefield tests, and they're like, we can get like a 9 zillion people in here, and then the entire thing crashed out, and they're like, yeah, let's dial that back to like 100.
Yeah, I bought that 9 zillion. Apparently our servers don't handle it.
Yeah, too many zeros. But PlanetSide 2 actually did really well, and from what I recall, there's a couple people that worked on PlanetSide 2 on this team, so they probably have a little bit of experience with trying to get as many people in there as possible.
Yeah, and not to mention, there's been a lot of changes to not only what we're seeing, but the people working on the things that we're seeing. It is my understanding that Matt Broom has stepped down and that there are other people who have come in, and so they're working on quickly training them, as Margaret was saying, and getting them up to speed as to the quality and the type of work that they're looking for. And I'm seeing some really interesting stuff coming out.
Yeah, it was kind of sad to see Matt stepping down and stepping away, but I mean, apparently he has his own little projects going on, so he probably has a giant full plate of events happening. So
Yeah.
maybe it might be for the best for both him and for Ashes if he's not competing his creative time, maybe.
Yeah, that's fair. I just realized I clipped this wrong a little bit. Hi, you both look totally handsome today. Oh, thank you, Tay.
Oh, thank you, Tay.
Okay, so some quick, before we continue into it, quick updates for life updates between Virtek and I. We are engaged, guys.
Yeah.
And I am officially transferred into a four-year university, and you can see the engagement video on my Twitter at Chibi Bree.
I got a Superman ring. Does it show? Yeah, it does.
Yeah, they messed up a little bit. I asked a Spider-Man ring, so I was giving Spider-Man a Superman ring for our engagement. But the new one should be here any day. Oh, and I am a foster child, so I'm going to be trying this with Virtek, the 23andMe, and also it's got the Health plus Ancestry. So it'll show me anything like to do with my family that I don't know about, like, or things I might have health-wise. So I'm excited to see what I actually am, because I'm like, I don't know, I think I'm this based off of, I don't know.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at. I know I'm an American, and that's about it. Well, no, I lie. I know a couple things, but it's so like literally 3 things. Other than that, I know that I'm apparently a Heinz 57 recipe. So many different things in there. It's bananas.
But yeah. And so I'll be starting school up on July 1st. It's 8-week terms, so I'm pretty excited. But enough about that. I am just... Okay, apparently there's new cosmetics being shown, and I haven't seen them yet. And I want to take a look at those later. But... let's see. There was a thing. Oh, a thing! The moth bird.
Yeah, as From the Ashes called it, the Swole Breaker.
Awesome.
Instead of the Dawn Breaker, because it's gigantic, and he is so built. Like when you see this video and image of it, like his shoulder blades with the previous art that they were showing at it, you sit on a saddle between its shoulder blades, like not like, oh, you're sitting on its shoulder blades kind of like you would a horse. No, literally between it. Your butt fits between its shoulder blades. Not
although
on, but between.
in this video it's showing you on the back.
Yeah, this video doesn't show anybody on it, but the previous words concept art, that's it. Yeah. Where it was standing up on a castle and it had his claws, like, or not claws, I guess a paws more like, but either way it's paws. They're like wrapped around the castle. They're interesting. They're like they had the person sitting like so tiny, like you could probably ball the person up and fit it in this guy's shoulder muscles.
You think the wings need to be larger? I think they're pretty big already. Like, I'd love to see what this looks like next to somebody. But I think maybe as far as looking at maybe like a butterfly or a moth, like yeah, I think the ratio for wings to body is a little different. But I mean, it kind of looks like a dragonfly to me from the top down perspective.
Yeah, with the raccoon tail, the little stripy raccoon tail.
And I like this. I like how they have the saddle, and then they put it on, like they show you the saddle alone, and then they put it on the back of this thing. It's just huge. But yeah, moth wings.
Yeah, the audio makes that video clip worthwhile, by the way.
Oh yeah, I clipped out the audio, sorry guys, but you can see this on their full live stream, which is also officially up on their YouTube, or on here on Twitch. If you go to Ashes of Creation, the page, and then it's the latest video that they just did, literally yesterday. So yeah, but I think it looks really cool. I'm excited. This is one of the Kickstarter backer rewards, right? And I don't know how long we were asking for a actual rendered look of it. some original illustration that Sato makes it look like this would be a horse size. Maybe.
Yeah, it does.
Maybe, yeah.
But that's where I'm really curious, like, because if they do make it horse size, I mean, it's going to be kind of an awkward sitting position because for one, it's so big and its arms and the way its wings are sitting, you're going to be like strutting your legs around its neck. Mm-hmm. But if it is larger, then that'll I think make a little bit more sense maybe because you'll be still doing the same thing, but it won't be like giant legs dangling down by its neck, kicking it in the throat or something.
Yeah. But I think it's pretty awesome. I'm excited to see it in person. I can't wait to be able to actually get it. But yeah, I don't know. I'm seeing things that are from Kickstarter in 3D and like in the game aspect, and it's making me excited. So
yeah, I'm gonna start using that if it's on the official Discord server now as an emote, because I'm just saying the Dawnbreaker, it's my favorite mount so far. Especially apparently it changes color and design based on they stated earlier like the player's mood. So I'm guessing like what you're doing for the day, maybe how much corruption you have. So you have giant butterfly wings announcing how much corruption you have to the world.
Let's see. Oh, wow. Okay, hold on. Let me save this image.
On something nifty, eh?
Kind of, yeah. The cosmetics. Do you want to talk about that a little bit while I get it up?
Oh yeah, I'm super. Perhaps you can set the mood. was pun fully intended there? Set the mood. But yeah, like a little drop down menu to change the colors. That'd be neat. But yeah, the new cosmetics are apparently Vec themed. I'm a big fan because my tank, I want to be a Vec because they sound super interesting. I mean, who's ever heard of orcs being all like intellectual and seeking deeper meanings in things and whatnot? I mean, I guess WoW orcs kind of did that to a degree-ish with like shamanism. But outside of that, they're usually just like war or anger or like just raw on a battlefield. But going into the more mystical arts is typically not a thing. Like nature is one thing, but literally looking to the stars for guidance is totally different.
Yeah. And
I think they all look insanely nifty. I mean, the weird little I guess green and white zebra-ish Tron horse with tusks is interesting. I'm not sure if I'm a huge fan of that one, but I do like it.
Oops.
Everything else though is just wicked. Like Scryer of Ebon Skies, like that little get up is going to be fantastic.
There we go. Here we go. Sorry. I was trying to get it and I figured it out now. Let me just make it bigger so that everybody can see it. These look awesome. Okay, so my first impression, especially of the part in the middle, is that it reminds me of the trolls from World of Warcraft.
Yeah, almost like troll shaman setup.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I like it. Like I really like the skin tattoos. I'm assuming they're tattoos anyway, because if that's birth markings, that's even more interesting, I think. But
yeah, and I kind of like the troll shamany like horse question mark.
Yeah, that horse thing is interesting. It's interesting. I mean, I like it because it's unique. I'm not sure if I'm in love with it though as an actual mount to run around with.
I think it's cool though, and like that whole carriage. Like, okay, for me that carriage would be awesome because I'm planning on playing an Oracle, so that carriage would be like yes, or I think caravan. Sorry, but it reminds me of carriage.
They called it the nomadic reliquary.
I like it.
I like the weird little globy thing, like the little astrologer's globe that's sitting on the back of the top part.
How can it bite you with horns in the way? Yeah, I agree.
Well, it does a whole lot more stabby. It's a stabby horse.
Ooh, the Vec has my interest being mystical. I agree. So I was thinking I'm probably gonna go either Kalar or Empyrean for not Kalar, that's human, right? The elves. I'm trying to figure out the elves. I know Empyrean.
Empyrean Pirai?
Pure Eye. Yeah, I think I might go Empyrean for the elves and then do High Priest there. And then go Vec for my Oracle.
There's see, I'm terrible with all of the race names and whatnot, and the sub races.
Yeah, that's just off the top of my head.
I zeroed in on the couple that I really like, and I kind of forgot the rest. I was just like, I want that right there, and the rest just went way to the backside.
Mm-hmm. So I think out of these, I'd take the caravan, the little bird thing, because that's cute. And probably, I don't know. The outfit screams shaman to me, but I'm not doing shaman. But it also like is interesting to see. I like it.
Well, there's the cloak-looking thing, the little shawl over on the right side of that image you're sharing. That one looks like it could be kind of cleric-y. Still more shamanistic-y, but it could be kind of a cleric-y, regal type robe.
Definitely with the pet. Yeah, I agree.
Oh yes, it's like a phoenix fox hawk thing. I love it. It's like, it's another one of those like mashup of so many different creatures. It's like, it's got little like deer hooves. That's what it looks like, but like a fox body and a hawk head, and it's just phoenix colored. I love it.
And you can see more of that on their Twitter post.
Fox and his stinky face. I like it.
Nice.
I like it.
And let's see. Well, with the new weapons that they've been working on, I'll go ahead and just toss that on up there. I'm enjoying the look of it. I personally, like, we were talking about this last night. Personally, I don't really like crossbows. I like the actual bows, but they still look good from a design standpoint. I also really love all of the staves there, like the guy from, I forgot his name, I'm sorry, from the Dev Diaries this week. Carson was talking about how excited he was to design this type of staff and how there was so much like intricacies with it, and it was kind of cool. It was almost, it reminded me of like when I'm trying to make cosplay stuff, if I'm playing with like a mold, like clay or something, just to get an idea of what I'm wanting to do. That's kind of what it looked like he was doing, but 3D.
Yeah. I really liked watching that, and as he said, there's a mix of symmetry and asymmetry with a lot of these, and I think it did really well. I'm also not a big crossbow person when it comes to using them, but I really liked how the really dark purple one, like the last one that he shows off, looks really nifty. I might almost wear that as a costume item once in a while, just for the looks.
The weapons look more realistic than my kitchen knives.
Kitchen knives. But yeah, I really liked watching how he was creating it, how he took it looked like digital pieces of putty and then shaped those little pieces of putty and stamped them on the weapon.
Yeah.
My only guess is because, and I'm not a 3D modeler artist in any way when it comes to visual stuff, so, but it looks like it was done that way so that they could maybe pull off those individual pieces to shape away from the weapon. Whereas I guess if you just shaped it all in one big clump, you wouldn't be able to pull out that one piece to zoom in on it and adjust it. But that's my guess on why it's done that way.
My favorite part of that was watching him take one of the previous shown staffs and then creating that new staff on top of it. Like, that was pretty cool, because I was just like, oh, that's a really neat staff. And then he's like, but I'm not done. And then continues like molding. And I'm like, whoa, that turned out like really nifty.
Maybe, you know what? Maybe that's why it was done that way in the 3D modeler. Maybe he was literally taking the old one and just adding new stuff on it, and that way he could save the multiple different stages of the weapon, so to say.
Maybe there's like the base model and then like the different changes to them for each of the races for their racial change to it. I don't know, racial effect. I don't know.
Yeah, he was using a bunch of them. I know they even mentioned, what was his name? The other guy who was like super hype about everything. Constantine, I remember was his last name.
Yeah.
Because I was reading it as Constantine, and he goes, Constantine. Oh, okay. Got it. But,
yeah, Rachel Ramirez, thank you.
Yeah, he was talking about going between a couple different applications.
Sorry, I saw that on the axe, the light up appearance, the biolumin, that. Oh, it's so pretty. I can't wait.
Yeah, it pops out like that. Yeah, Brad, that was it. That was it. Yeah, how he was talking about going between a couple different applications for the character design. And oh yeah, absolutely. I agree, Tay. But yeah, he was talking about going between a couple different applications, like using 4 or 5 programs to create 3D model. I can totally see that, because in my hobby of photography, it's easy to use 3-4 different programs also for editing one photograph.
Yeah.
Like I've never really gotten why. Well, I guess I do kind of get it, but I've never really truly understood why somebody hasn't made one program that can do all of that stuff in one. Like, give me my Lightroom, my Photoshop, my Illustrator, all that stuff just in one. Like, that's what I want. All of it in one application.
But yeah, they had like really, like, all of these look really amazing. And following this video, I'll go ahead and highlight the effects that have changed. So I like that, I mean, you could tell that they must have super, like, pretty much supercomputers to be able to do all of that, because there's so many big hardcore things that you have to run at once in order to, like, as they were saying, you don't have to, but they were saying that they were running them at once. So you have like your Maya and like your 3D modeler, all these things that they're moving one thing into another instantly, and that's got to eat up a lot of memory and RAM for that.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And honestly, I think anybody dealing with graphics, be it still image or, well, I guess still image doesn't need as much, but anybody doing 3D especially and stuff in motion has got to have a massive computer to do it well, because those models, when they're making them, they are so high resolution. We'll never see them as a player in that higher resolution.
Yeah.
But it's required to make sure they get all the details, and then they can, downgrade it as much as needed to make it work and play nice.
I really do love that they're offering us like a higher resolution look at it, though. Like, what we're seeing right now is a good example, and I can see kind of like the lighting effect on it too. Pretending where the sun is and being able to see it. So even though we may not be able to see it at this detail in the game, at least we can look out of game and see the full resolution detail of it, and it's so pretty.
So pretty. It's so shiny I could die.
But
so yeah, what are your guys' opinions anyway of the new format that well, I guess not new because they've kind of done it before, but I know the one thing that they kept mentioning is that Steven was kind of nervous about doing it this way, and then he was fully on board towards the end, like when they went to actually do it, but they still had a little bit of I guess hesitancy, because they weren't sure how everybody, especially new players, were going to take to it, because they kind of learned in the past that there are some people that would see in some games, other games even, they'll see a work in progress and they'll say, hey, it looks like trash, and then they'll never come back to it and never look at it again.
Yeah.
So it looks like at least Theater and Tay, you guys dig it. I know I loved it, because if you think about it, everyone's been kind of not necessarily upset, but kind of like getting anxious because we weren't seeing much from the team. But now with something like this, if they keep up every month doing the same type of setup, they can show a progress from one month to the next. Even if it's a couple different systems, if they just show one common system and something else that they've done with it in the next month, it'll be a constant feed of information saying, look how we're doing this now, look how we're doing that now. Hey, you remember the Soul Breaker when we were showing you that? Well, now here's how it looks now that we've done a couple more iterations on it.
Right.
And just that'll be at least one thing that they can show a before and an after. And especially if they use the content from the previous stream, they might actually get a lot of the same new people approaching the game that watched 2 in a row and say, oh wow, look at that. That is a big difference. Check that out. They are actually making progress. They're creating new stuff. They're moving forward.
Right.
And it's not even in the actual alpha yet. So,
and I mean, they were also mentioning that the quality that they're bringing to alpha, despite not even being in alpha yet, is really like, there's a lot of them. Like, you have your alphas that are actually port overs, but then you have your actual alphas that are, as they were even saying, dev UI or dev display, where there is not pretty. It's just supposed to show you like what they need to know. But
totally utilitarian.
yeah.
It does the job, but that's about it.
Yeah, I agree, theater, but I think that Margaret is trying, and I like what Margaret did this time, where she changed how the whole stream goes in general, the setup of the stream. I mean, while we may not have learned much as far as where we are exactly and what's coming exactly, we did learn things that we've been wanting to know. Like, we want to see these behind the scenes of them making these different pieces. We want to see the behind the scenes of Bacon making this beautiful oceanscape. And I also realized that with all of this stuff happening, as far as like new artists coming in and the back end needing work, but like how much they've done in 3 months is just inspiring to me. Like, I never really lost hope in the game, but if I had, and even right now, it's renewed hope. It's just like, yes, I can't wait now, you know, like they're doing stuff.
Yeah,
but
all of us dropping in time and money into the game, and we're seeing some kind of payout in the form of, hey, this is where we're at now.
Yeah. Let me catch up on chat real quick. We finally escaped the dark ages of no information. Yeah. I wish they'd space out info once a week, yes. And I feel like maybe if they had dropped little hints and like sneaks once a week, and then like maybe revealed all of like what's behind it. Like, for example, I like how in the Q&A, Steven got a little bit more into the economic node and was explaining more things behind it. So I like that they drop the original bit of information, but then I like that Steven went in and kind of filled in some of the gaps and just kind of explained things a little further. And that to me felt really cohesive without like being redundant in their information, but also giving us a little bit of information then adding onto it.
But yeah, I totally see what you're saying there with spacing the info out. To be somewhat fair, though, at least looking back at their release schedule, I mean, it was on the 9th we got the Hippogriff stuff, and then on the 23rd, 28th, 29th, in that order, we got the economic nodes, weapon modeling, and then Pilgrimage. Pilgrimage of the Diviner, the new cosmetic stuff announcement. Yeah. So, I mean, it was kind of all tossed in towards the end, but at least they are keeping at doing multiple info releases throughout the month. And the semi-fair part about it with the stream is saving a lot of the big meaty stuff and a lot of information for the stream kind of ensures that it's going to be a very impactful stream and not just, okay, so you're just talking about all the stuff you released throughout the month. We already knew that. We read it. We saw it. So they do need to hold a good bit of information because you got to figure this is, I'm going to call it at, say, another year and a half before they might maybe be ready to go live with it. And that's a might maybe. They got to space all this stuff out between now and then, so they can't really give away the farm with any 1 month. They got to really be cautious with how much they give out, which sadly enough means also the lore type items that I'd love to know more about the world, but they don't want to release that until they're in. I think Steven said like betas is when they're okay with releasing more the meaty lore.
Also, they want us to kind of experience the lore in game rather than just telling us about it. Mm-hmm. So, I like the stream. I like that live stream, but Dev Diaries, Creative Director's Letter, and should not be on the same week. I agree. They should be spaced out, but I think right now Margaret is working with what she can. I mean, it was in her original plan to have something new each week for us. So I think maybe things are a little hectic. They are still looking for a new place to move, and things are getting cramped apparently at the current studio. So I think that, you know, also Tay is saying that he's a little scared about them overworking themselves just to give us the best quality. And I agree. Like, sometimes you see Steven coming on and he looks like so wiped. And I'm just like, oh man, like he's working really, really hard. But I think also part of that is getting more quality people on the team to help kind of ease that strain. a little bit more.
Yeah, you hear about the games development industry being really, really difficult when it comes to not necessarily what they're doing, but how much of it they have to do and how quickly they have to do it. And that I really hope they don't get burnt out. Like, again, a lot of famous studios that are having a lot of backlash out in the wild community just because you're working your people to death and people are quitting and they have to go to psychological treatment because they get so like worked to the bone and they go nuts.
Yeah.
And stress just starts to kill them. And granted, we haven't heard anything that sounds like they're quite at that point with Intrepid, but I really hope, as you said, they really don't get to that point at all. But I think the concern of getting everybody as much quality as possible really is because they're trying to share more about the game. I stress trying because they have been kind of radio silent with a lot of information for a bit, but they are getting better, which is fantastic. But with trying to share more work in progress type stuff, it's a little worrisome, as I said, when they put out something in one stream, and that if that's the one stream somebody catches,
I agree,
and they see like some janky movement in a battle, they might be hesitant to even catch another live stream.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
With Bacon trying really hard right now to figure out how waves should crash onto the beach and into stones and such. Yeah, I'm excited to see how that looks when it's done too. Like,
I bet you can spend a lot of time at the beach though. I'm doing research.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna go research for a little while. I'll be back in a couple hours.
I would not mind taking that job.
Take some umbrella, sandwich, and a bottle of wine. Oi, love it, love it. But yeah, I mean, honestly, even right now, like it's looking better than many games I have played. So if he's still working out how to make it look even better, so be it. So be it. I love it.
Yeah, I think the one thing I would say, and I'm not trying to say like if I were to do it, I'd be better. No, it's just like the way that I've seen like the ocean, depending on where you're at, is usually like a little bit of a curl wave crashing down in. Yeah.
Kind of depends on the coast and where you are on the coast. Like I've seen some that do just kind of roll in like little humpy waves, and some others that actually do come in a crash. Yeah.
But I mean, that being said, I would have no clue how to do this, so he's done an amazing job. It looks gorgeous. I can't wait. So new effects on weapons and taking a lot less space. Like look at those weird tentacle things coming out. What the heck? And like yeah.
I was just gonna say, yeah, the miasma did the tentacle thing before, but it wasn't as pronounced and like, I don't know, for lack of better phrasing, so raw looking. Like it really looks like evil reaching out of the ground to try to pull you down right now.
Yeah. And I really like the wand effect right before he went to shoot it, and now this new effect for the like the marker for the like looking up in the sky, you can see kind of where that person is. There's like a little orb in the sky, like he's here.
It looks a lot better. Before it was neat playing in the BR with it because it was this giant beam of light that came down, but it was kind of jarring. Like it was definitely out of place feeling. Yeah. But it wasn't obvious where the person was. But now this creates an obvious, but it blends in more like it's supposed to be there. And then there's new, like making it look like you're coming out of or like through the portal into the game. This part looks really cool too to me. Yeah, they described it like a comet shooting down, and then you break out of the comet into your little griffin for the remaining last bit. That's pretty cool. Yeah. I like it. You think the miasma is too big? Well, I think the miasma needs to be big because it's an area of effect, kind of, that creates the darkness. So, I mean, while I agree it looks really big and kind of wonky, definitely after being hit with that thing, you definitely can't see anything. Yeah, I would agree to a point there, Theater. Like, I think the area part of it needs to be as big as it's going to be impacting, but the actual tentacles could probably be scaled down a little bit as far as how thick and raw they are. Yeah, maybe a little. But I mean, that overall, being said, it looks good. Yeah. Overall, I think it looks great, but that could be a tiny improvement they could make. But I'm not too picky. I think it looks good as is. But again, that's how I agree to a point. I think it could be maybe improved by being a little bit skinnier on the tentacles.
Yeah, I also love that despite these being enhanced graphics, it doesn't put any more strain. In fact, I think it's a little less strain on your computer than the previous graphics.
Yeah, that's what they're saying, which is, I mean, that's a double win. Well, I mean, triple win, because that means it's getting closer to being able to be played too. So
yeah,
I guess it's a triple win.
Which is always exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then I just gotta figure out where I put this. Oh no, I
hid
lost
it.
Why would you do that?
Put it on eBay. It's gone.
What? That's rude. Yes, hoping the VR will come back soon. Yes. I was making the comment previously, but I think it's funny that before we're all like, no VR, but then now we're like, okay, VR, please come back.
Now everybody's like, bring the VR back, bring it back. Honestly, I think it'll be a lot more fun now anyway, with graphical and combat improvements they made, because that was another thing. I don't understand. I mean, maybe it's just me, but I've seen some people saying, get rid of the screen shake in the VR, get rid of the screen shake in the combat. I like the screen shake. I mean, for the reason that they were highlighting
I want to make it to 50.
was because when you hit something, you know you hit something. It actually feels a little bit more reactive now. Like it's reacting to what you're doing instead of just it's a thing that's happening and you're involved in it, kind of. Mm-hmm. Like it's an actual, you hit something and your screen shakes from the impact. I really like that.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not sure where this thing is. I've already...
And Tay says, did you know that there is a tentacle mage ability? Roots you and damage over time. Getting slapped by the tentacles. Can be found in the wiki.
Interesting. Did not know that.
I might have to look that up. It's almost like a like a Tangle type setup.
Yeah.
I like it. Didn't like it at first, but grew to, yeah, hopefully, I mean, maybe they can let you turn it off or dial it down. I think they actually mentioned before that they were gonna have a switch you could flip to turn it off. But maybe if they have a slider to adjust the intensity of it as well for people who like the effect but don't like it to be as pronounced, maybe that'd be pretty cool too.
I agree.
I mean, if I'm using an action skill, I want there to be action on my screen. So
right.
I want it to be basically the same as they had it in the demo on this live stream, to be honest, because to me that didn't seem too bad as far as extreme shaking, but it gave really good feedback and I could dig it. Maybe probably dial it down a little bit, maybe, but we'll see when the final implementation comes in.
Yeah. Also, for the Fan Art Friday this month, I'm excited because I'm a little upset, but then now that I've seen it, I'm super excited because I had something planned and I thought like my plan got ruined, but look at this cute 3D version of the staff.
Yes, I love that. He took the model that he made and just printed it right out.
Yeah. I think it's super cute. I totally buy one of these because like I've always played cleric and that's my whole thing. I'm like healer type, so.
Yeah, and for those that haven't actually seen the post, like definitely check this out in its full glory as far as the big image that you can get there.
Yeah.
Because it looks really, really cool. And it must have been a really high resolution printer to be able to get something that small and still get the detail. I mean, you can still tell it's on the 3D printer, but
yeah. I'm kind of amused because it looks like a little wand instead of an actual staff. It's like...
Looks like you could get two of them and use them as chopsticks.
Interesting chopsticks.
Cleric staff chopsticks. That needs to be made.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Margaret, I'm looking at you. Cleric staff chopsticks. Ready, set, go. Collector's edition.
Yeah. We need the staff in bigger size for cosplay. I agree. But...
Ooh, that'd be a hell of a 3D printer.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Maybe glue a bunch of them together.
Probably.
I'm in for the challenge. Let's do it.
We don't even own a 3D printer.
We can buy one for that. We
They're
can buy
really
one.
expensive.
'Cause
I would
I'm
love
sure I'm
one.
gonna need some of those tank shields printed.
I'd love one, but they're really expensive to get. So
Yeah, they are. They are. It's kind of a dream. Kind of a dream.
But that's all I have to really talk about. What about you? Anything else you want to bring up from the live stream?
Honestly, just everything about it. I hope they get a lot of really good feedback about the format that they went with. Again, it's not necessarily a new format. They have done something like that in the past, but they did bring in more people from more areas to bring in a wider range of information and a wider range of conversation, and that was fantastic.
Ashes, if you're watching this, we approve.
Yes, definitely, definitely approve. 10 out of 10 would recommend. As I'd said in the Discord, I mentioned to someone that I actually had a friend who didn't really know much of anything about Ashes, just kind of as an experiment, like, check this out, look at this, and sent them over to the live stream, and they watched it, and now they're just waiting for the referral program to be all fully up and running so that they can sign up.
Nice.
So if that gives you any kind of an impact on like how it looks to newcomers, it doesn't look bad.
I agree,
it's not
Tay.
a bad look.
Yeah.
It's maybe to varying degrees of good, but just understanding that it's work in progress, and here's this stuff, and here's these things that we've come up to, and here's some people that are working on it, chat with them, and rotating a handful of people out. That was, I think, really, really nice. I loved the feel of it. It was constant flow. It was different information, even though there was a lot of artwork being shown. It was different types of artwork from different teams that are working separately.
Yeah, and I loved that they had more of a cohesive, like, overview look at everything. And I'm excited to see which development teams they're going to bring in next. I'd love to see some more character concepts. I loved the live stream, so did I. Yeah, I think that the future live streams should be held to that standard as well.
Kind of as a baseline.
Yeah.
It should definitely be a baseline for future ones. But Tay, as far as applying the referral code later, from my understanding, the referral codes have to be applied at the creation of the account.
You could always put in a ticket, I'm sure, and be like, so-and-so referred me, but your referral thing wasn't up yet.
Yeah, because I know that's something that Steven had mentioned, is during account creation, they can enter the code.
Yeah.
Rather than at any time going back and applying it.
Also, it's easier just to wait until then and have a nice new fleshed out referral situation. And I like that they're gonna do both, because I personally like the link better. But the fact that you can do a link and the code both excite me a little bit more, because sometimes you just be like, here, put this code in, but other times you can just be like, click this link, and then it's instantly applied to your referral. I like it.
Yeah, I like the link system, or the referral code, better than the link, mainly because if, say, I'm out and about and I'm talking to somebody at a convention or just at a nerd shop of some sort or another, like buying a new expansion for some card game or a tabletop game, and I'm talking to people and I'm like, hey, check this site out, check this game out, and I explain to them a whole bunch of stuff, and they look at it on their phone and like, yeah, cool. But then they go home and they log in on their computer. My URL is now non-existent. Yeah. So if I gave them my referral link to log in on their phone and they created the account on their computer, I'm suddenly not a referral, or they're not a referral for me anymore, because I signed up on a different thing that doesn't have that cookie tracking that they visited from my referral link. So the referral code is a little bit more universal. That's
good to know, Tay. I'm also a little bit worried about, like, what if I referred somebody and then with this new one, would they be able to be like, I don't want to be referred by that person anymore? Is that something that they can change?
I wouldn't think you'd be able to change that, but because that sounds like something that could be abused to one shape or another.
Yeah.
Just because it could be like, if somebody referred you and they are actually the one that brought you to the world, and you just randomly decide you don't like them, or that you like somebody better and you change all your benefits to the other person, then the actual person that talked you into joining the game
doesn't get credit.
Doesn't get any of the credit for bringing you to the game.
Yeah, like for example, I don't know if it was Dust Proxy or somebody else, but somebody made videos on Ashes way 2 years ago when I first met Virtek. Um, and it convinced me to join, and I clicked their little link thing, so they definitely have my referral. But not that I wouldn't want to give it to them, but it just you can only add someone if you have not been linked to someone's account yet. Okay, cool. Yeah, but something like that, where initially also there's the whole, if you click somebody's link, then that person's the one that refers you, versus like, say I clicked, I don't remember this guy's name. Let's say I picked some
I think
big
it was Lazy
YouTuber.
Peon you'd mentioned
Oh
before.
yeah, Lazy Peon, thank you. Say I click Lazy Peon's link, but I wanted to check it out, but I wasn't like quite enticed. But then say Virtek reminded me about it and sent me a link. I'd really rather give Virtek the official, because at that point, like, I'm officially joining because Virtek convinced me to do it and not Lazy Peon. But I think that's where the maybe the code might be better. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I see that point of view, but like I said, I kind of hope that once you are referred by somebody or you're linked to somebody, you can't switch over, just because it would create a lot of people would switch that all the time. Like if they leave from one guild to another, they're going to refer the person who brought them into a different guild, or like if they start dating somebody and that person joins up, then hey, I'll even be your referral, and whatever. So it'd be changed up and switched up, and it would end up being more of a favoritism. People in game could be like, hey, I'll give you money if you give me your referrals, and that would be an instant, like, almost like not really pay to win, I guess, refer to win strategy. I'll give you a lot of in-game gold if you give me your referrals.
Or like, I mean, you get rewards, you get a percentage of what that person spends, so
yeah. So it is basically getting real life money for giving people game currency. So yeah, I could see that being abused if you could switch it up.
Yeah. One more thing. The Ashes post created another live stream live transcript. So I'm going to go ahead and link you guys to that. So if you ever want to use it for, I know I like to go through the live stream transcripts and refer to it for different things. For example, last week we talked about the economic node, and we had certain questions, and it turns out we were both kind of right. Like, you can literally, as a player, set up a shop anywhere. So as a cleric and a alchemist, I could go down to where people are raiding, even if I don't quite have the raiding gear, and I could set up a little like alchemist shop with like some buffs and stuff and sell it. Or you can sell it in the node area. Yeah,
I really like that, because I could see, like you were saying, as an alchemy person, to set up shop where people do a lot of adventuring, or if like the example they always bring up, if the dragon comes down from the mountain because they're angry at your town or whatever, and suddenly when the dragon comes down, you defeat the dragon, it becomes a little dungeon, like an open world dungeon. At that point, you just camp out there, do some crafting. When people are going to be coming to that dungeon because it's something brand new, you set up a shop with random supplies you might need. Here's some food, here's some potions. I got some repair stuff for you, because apparently to do stuff like repairing legendaries, then you possibly other gear, you're going to need components rather than just walking up to a merchant and saying repair my stuff. You might need actual components. So you sell some repair stuff and other little tits and tats that people might need.
All in all, I'm excited. I can't wait to see what this game has to offer now, and I can't wait to be able to get back into the BR, because like Theodore was saying, I want to get to level 50. Come on.
Yeah, I think I left off at like 35 or 31 something. It was an odd number in the 30s. I remember that.
But between my school and his work, we didn't really get to play much.
Yeah. It was one of those like, hey, I have today off in this week. Today. That's it. So I'm going to spend like 6 hours playing BR.
Yeah, I would like it for it to be up 24/7, so that when I'm free to play it, I can play it, instead of like, oh, hey, test is up for like an hour, guys. I'm like, oh, but I missed it.
Well, Tay, you see, you could get to 50 in about 4 hours, but with my BR skill, I could get it in about 4 hours if I bought the levels. That's about it. Not the most skilled in BR combat.
Yeah, same. Not the best at it. I actually killed one person and made it to the end of the game once. So I graduated from killing nobody and dying instantly to at least that. So I'm in no way, shape, or form a PvE person. I'm more PvE and stuff like that. Right. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. We have fun with it for sure. It's just when it comes to PvP, I'm much better when I can actually prepare and design my character around certain strategies or what have you. When it comes to just opening a chest and let's see what I have today. Oh, I have nothing, but the guy next to me picked up this legendary axe and there goes my head.
Yeah, that's the one thing I was kind of a little upset about, because like the fight for materials, and I'm like, that's not even fair. I didn't even find anything except for like potions and a schematic. I can't even fight with the schematic. I don't even know how to put the schematic in place. There was literally a couple of games where I was running around like, can I put it here? No. Can I put it there? No.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can drop the house and hide on the other side of it. Just keep running in circles around the house till they get tired and leave you alone. More of a stalemate tactic than anything. I can hide better than you can find.
There was this one stream where somebody was hiding on like the edge of an interior wall. I don't know how they got there, but it was interesting. They're just hanging out up there. They're using their bow and like shooting people, but they're trying to be careful unless they could do it like on one shot because I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was able to use them. Apparently, what Steven was saying in the one stream, it was
right,
there might be like chests or whatnot in there, and I dropped, I want to say like 4 or 5 schematics in the time the BR was up. Not one of them had anything interesting.
I didn't even get to drop it. I had it, but I was like, forget the schematic, so I dropped the schematic and it went off with a different ability, a different skill. So.
Hit once, use ability, target should be it.
Yep.
Yeah, see, I never really got much effectiveness out of that, because I would end up bumping into somebody and I would use the ability and it'd be like, fire! And they would then stab me repeatedly in the face and I would fall over.
It was really fun to get the damage to the world objectives, though. Just use Archmage's companion staff and just... You can go into your inventory and choose to drop it that way, or you could select it and pick up something else and it'll automatically swap that out.
I think maybe the question was more about how do you set them out in the world, like how do you use them?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had to use it like almost like the weapon skill where you use the attack button, you choose it as your weapon, and then when you arrowed around, it would change, and most of the time it was red. I don't know what was going on with that. But most of the time the schematic would say you can't place it here, you can't place it here, you can't place it here, and then you would find a spot.
Pretty much where I read it too. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was maybe like bushes on the ground or something were getting in the way. I don't know. But yeah, I had to do a little bit of fiddling to find a space where it would drop, and then I could drop it on the ground. But a couple times you could tell it was a work in progress, because the weird, it was almost like the one was almost like a platform house you would see in a swamp, like it was raised up off the ground on kind of like almost stilt type things. But when I dropped it on the ground, all those stilts were at the bottom of the house, but they didn't really level it out on the ground, and they didn't drop it down so that these stilts were actually on the ground and the rest was maybe into the hill a little bit. It was these back stilts were way up here, and the house was sitting like this, like that was the bottom of the house. I had to jump up over here to get to go around to the front of the house where the house door was. I couldn't jump up to the front door. It was interesting.
Yeah. I also freaked out the first time I saw somebody kill a horse for the horse potion. I was like, you killed the horse! And they're like, that's how you get the mount. I'm like, what?
It's okay. I found its soul in this bottle.
Right? Now I can ride this horse into battle and not get off of it until we figured out how, but still it was funny. It was funny because you're like, I can't get off the horse.
Dehydrated horse, just add water.
Love it.
Or is it extra hydrated horse, just add dirt? I don't know how that
horse
works.
Potion.
Magic.
Poof. But,
yeah, I liked how it made a drinking sound. Like you're drinking the potion, but then this horse pops out of nowhere.
I'm drinking the horse's spirit, and now I have a horse mount. What the heck?
Takes a part of your soul to bring a horse to life.
Oh, jeez. It's like the Shield Hero's ability.
Yeah, the blood sacrifice.
Yeah. But yeah, so pretty much that's it for this week. They had an awesome, if you haven't watched it yet, the live stream was amazing. It's on their YouTube, it's on their Twitch. But I'm excited to be able to see what else is going to be coming out. But in the meantime, if you're interested in joining our podcast next week as a guest, feel free to message us. We're always looking for people to join us in the community, whether you're an RPer or you're a PvPer, doesn't matter to us. We just want to hear your opinions and your thoughts on the things that are coming out and get to know you better, because that's what we're here for. We're here for the community, not for necessarily other streamers, not for necessarily other podcasters, but for the community, for you guys.
Yeah, so be prepared to talk about yourself, what you're up to, any guild you're in, any kind of fun things you do in the community, even just your favorite things that are happening in the community. Be ready to talk about you and your opinions.
That being said, PVX, if it lives, it can be killed. I love that.
If it lives, it dies.
But yeah, that being said, we're working on fussing with the time. I think we're shooting for around 3 or 4 p.m. PST normally now. That's to be determined, I'm guessing.
Yeah, we still gotta time it out and figure out how it's gonna work for a lot of people. As far as viewers and people we already have that stop by to see us a lot.
Yeah, and thank you guys for joining us, those of you that did. I know this is a bit earlier than our typical, because Virtek is about to go off to work and I have to go back to the old apartment and finish moving stuff. But yeah, it's awesome having you guys here. It's awesome talking about Ashes with you guys. I always love talking about Ashes and just theory crafting and what if this, considering that, and things like that. So we might end up putting out a what time on Fridays work best for you for our podcast, and do a multiple click thing where if it's any time between 1 and 5, for example, might be nice. Oh no, the bot's not up.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it up real quick.
Okay. You could always join our Discord. You'll find us there. I'm here on Twitch occasionally. I haven't streamed in a little bit, but I'd like to get back into it. But currently I'm working on self-learning PHP, etc. And now I have a class to go sign up for my new semester of college. So
it's fun times. But yeah, definitely join us over in the Discord here. I'm gonna get that posted up here in just a second. But yeah, join us in the Discord. Give us your thoughts. As she said, we'll be putting out a hey, what time is awesome for you guys? It might end up being something in the middle of now and our typical 5, just because we do have some people that stop by a lot for the 5 p.m. PST time that we normally do, and we don't want to totally just abandon them by removing 5 hours from the day from them.
Yeah, exactly. I'm thinking something like 3 p.m. It's a nice mix in the middle, so. But keep an eye out on our Twitter. Actually, our Twitter can be found there. Thank you, bot. And awesome. Thanks for the clip.
Yeah.
But yeah, so keep an eye out, and we'll keep you guys updated as best we can. We're a little behind on videos at the moment, but it's been hectic, and a lot is happening. Virtek usually has 2 days off this weekend, and he gets 1 tomorrow, which is going to be filled with moving. So things are changing work-wise for him as well with the typical work day schedule. So we're all in a little bit of flux at the moment with what's happening. So
it's a joy working 55, 60 hours a week and then coming home to move. But yeah, I should, in theory, fingers crossed, I'm going to get last week's episode and this week's episode cut down and ready by the end of tonight. So
yeah.
We'll get one up throughout the weekend or on Monday, and the other one will go up on Monday.
Yeah. And yeah, so that's it for now. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us, and we can't wait to see what kind of news we're bringing you next week.
Do appreciate your time and your words.
Thank you.
Have yourselves a great day.
Bye.